Hello everyone and welcome back. I am as always Inquisitor Ara and this is Living Roleplay, and today we are going to be discussing Karabor, the Black Temple, and the Outland Campaign. Looming eternally against the fell-tainted horizon of Shadowmoon Valley and past the constant grumbling of the Hand of Gul'dan broods the corrupted and ancient Temple of Karabor, now known as the Black Temple. Once a shining beacon of the light, maintained and built by the Draenei, it has since fallen into ruin, and has served as the seat of power for Outland's rulers, Shadow Council, Ner'zhul, Magtheridon, and Illidan's Stormrage. Given the Legion's return, it is important to understand the events that have taken place at the Black Temple, as well as the events of the Outland Campaign, as they have a marked effect on the current events on Azeroth. The first thing that really needs to be touched on is that the Black Temple has passed through many hands over its long and tumultuous history. It was built by the Draenei, and it was a city temple that served as the refuge of the Prophet Velen when the exiled Draenei landed on Draenor. But shortly after the formation of the Orcish Horde, Gul'dan conquered the Draenei forces protecting the temple and transformed it into the headquarters of the Shadow Council, renaming it the Black Temple. After Gul'dan left for Azeroth, Ner'zhul, tricked into making a blood pact with Kil'jaeden the Deceiver, took up residence within the Black Temple, using it as a fortress from which he sought out new lands to escape to and conquer. This led to the shattering of Draenor, as the portals Ner'zhul created destabilized the planet and ripped it apart. When Ner'zhul attempted to use these portals, he was captured by the Deceiver, and ended up trapped himself in a sword and helmet to become part of the Lich King. However, the open portals and broken remnants of Draenor's forces would provide the Legion with a significant tactical advantage. Magtheridon, a general of the Burning Legion, easily conquered the remaining military forces and established the Black Temple as his seat of power, where he ruled for 20 years. However, even Magtheridon soon found himself imprisoned and displaced. Illidan's Stormrage, having escaped through the Dark Portal with his allies Lady Vashj and Kael'thas Sunstrider, trying to evade Kil'jaeden after he failed to kill the Lich King, brought his forces to bear against the Lord of Outland. With the aid of Akama and his ash tongue broken, with the promise that Karabor would be returned to them so it could be purified and restored, Magtheridon was defeated and locked away beneath Hellfire Citadel, his blood used to bolster Illidan's rank with Fel Orcs. However, unknown to all but Illidan, the capture and imprisonment of Magtheridon set off the series of events that led us all to the Broken Isles. It was here, at this unhallowed site, that Illidan began setting into motion his plans to destroy the Legion once and for all, to create an army of creatures like himself and transport them to the heart world of the Legion, Argus, where the veil between the great dark beyond and the twisting nether is broken, allowing the Eredar homeworld to exist in both simultaneously and one of the few places where the demons can be permanently killed. That was not meant to be. During a major Legion assault on Outland during Illidan's reign, High Lord Cruel, a Doomguard, learned something of Illidan's plans. He set off for Azeroth and began assaulting Netherguard Keep in the Blasted Lands from the Dark Portal, believed to be sealed. Cruel and his lord, Doomguard Kha'Zix, reopened the Dark Portal and had begun sending troops through. This, in turn, forced the armies of Azeroth to respond to the demonic threat. Believing Illidan to be behind the attacks, armies poured through the Dark Portal, the unwitting pawns of the Legion, with one goal: defeat Illidan's Stormrage. All part of Cruel's plan. And defeat him we did. Both he and the army of demon hunters he had built were captured atop the Black Temple and interred within the Vault of the Wardens. Illidan to serve out the remainder of his life's sentence, his body trapped in crystal, leaving his soul abandoned in the twisting nether. and his demon hunters forced to endure years of isolation and waking solitude alongside him. But what does this mean to you? Well, that actually is very simple. The big thing? We were played, guys. The combined forces of Azeroth were manipulated into removing one of the Legion's biggest threats, Illidan. And only now are we beginning to realize just how colossally we messed up with the entire Outland Campaign. Yes, of course, we removed Magtheridon for a time, but he's back. We've seen him at the Broken Shore. We killed one of Queen Azshara's handmaidens, and we removed the threat of Kael'thas, eventually, death being merely a setback. But we killed Illidan, in that we separated his soul from his body and allowed him to be imprisoned, and that was the intention of the Legion. From that point on, the Legion has been working tirelessly, building their forces to bring them to bear against Azeroth, and we took out their biggest threat. And now we need him, and now he's gone. His body stolen from the vault of the Wardens by Gul'dan and a fell-corrupted Cordana Fellsong. We have the Illidari, his demon hunter army, and they are tirelessly searching for their missing lord in order to enact his plan. But all of the events that took place in the Black Temple have had an effect on what is happening now. Everything we did in Outland directly affects our current campaign in the Broken Isle. Feasibly, we could go back even farther. The events of both the First and Second Wars were ultimately to get to this point, to open the Tomb of Sargeras and flood Azeroth with demons until they could cover the world in fellfire and split it in half. Now it is up to us to make up for our mistakes and fix this, and we've effectively been caught off of our guard. This Gul'dan, unlike his predecessor, succeeded in opening the tomb instead of succumbing to selfishness and attempting to garner even more power for himself. But the truth is plain for all to see. We are the reason this is happening. Our actions in Outland are the reason we are dealing with this now. This invasion was foretold by Wrathion in Mists of Pandaria and was the reason he was trying to, rather foolishly, unite the forces of Azeroth. But now we are racing against the Legion to find the Pillars of Creation before they do and stem the ever-flowing tide of demons coming through the Tomb of Sargeras. As of now, we have found 4 of them. The Hammer of Khaz'garath, the Tears of Elune, the Tidestone of Norgannon, and the Aegis of Agramar. The Eye of Aman'Thul remains at large and is believed to be somewhere in Suramar. The Illidari are also desperately searching for Illidan, and it has been revealed that Illidan's soul is trapped in the Twisting Nether and that his body is somewhere. The heroes of Azeroth have also been quite busy, gathering their strength and recruiting allies to aid them in the coming battles. For example, the Farseer of the Earthen Ring has reached out to the 4 elemental lords, instilling new lords in the place of Al'Akir and Ragnaros, and has garnered their attention and their help in the coming battle. And the Death Lord of the Knights of the Ebon Blade has been reassembling his 4 horsemen, much to the chagrin of much of the rest of Azeroth. The bottom line is that we, the heroes of Azeroth, have a massive fight on our hands. And the first thing we need to do is take out the Legion's support. The first step in that direction is to walk into the Emerald Nightmare and remove Xavius once and for all. Without a Legion agent poisoning the dream, the Druids and any surviving wild gods can then turn their focus to the war to come. Then we will head back into Karazhan and finally purge it of its fell taint once and for all. And after that, we will turn our eyes back to Suramar and to the Nighthold, where Gul'dan awaits his punishment. Well, that is going to be it from me for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to comment below and don't forget to subscribe. I also have a Patreon. The link is in the description box below, as well as up in my channel header art. So if you want to help me improve my video quality, make sure you stop on by and donate. Remember, your donations go directly to things to improve the quality of my videos and may lead to more videos per week. Anyways, guys, thank you again so much for watching. Have a great week, have a great weekend, and I will see you again in Azeroth.